Hey, so in this series here, we're going to be looking at different people's photography business problems, and I'm going to try and come up with a solution for them which will help them move towards their goals. Now, none of the information in this is financial advice or business advice. This is just how I would deal with the situation, what I would do if I was in their shoes. Obviously, everyone is different, so do take this with a certain pinch of salt. So today we have Alex with us. Alex has lived in Spain for the last 15 years, but she's currently back in the UK and by chance, close to my studio for the week. So I'm going to let Alex introduce herself and tell us a bit about your photography business and where it is at the moment. So over to you.
Hi, I'm Alex Baker and I've been working as a photographer for the last 5 years or so. However, it's been a bit stop and start and I feel like I've never really put 100% into it yet. I've never put 100% into the marketing yet, and I'm feeling very directionless since COVID. It's been very up and down, so I feel like I'm a bit stuck. Really, I don't really know quite where to go with it next. I'm grinding gears. I used to be a professional musician, and my photography started very organically through that. I had a lot of colleagues and friends, you know, asking, oh, can you shoot my album cover? Can you do some promo photos? And it gradually grew very organically until I was sort of doing 50-50 music and photography. And then in 2015, I did a year-long commercial photography course and decided to go full tilt into photography after that at 8 months pregnant. So,
Perfect timing.
Yes,
perfect timing.
So then I had a baby and, you know, not having had a baby before, I thought, oh yeah, this is going to be great. 2 months off and I'll get back into, you know, doing the photography. Well, it doesn't work like that. 18 months later, I was sort of getting back into it. Now I had a pretty decent year and then the pandemic struck. So that's where I'm at.
So
really.
pre-pandemic, in terms of your businesses, in terms of financial goals, how close were you getting at that point to making enough money for what you need today?
Oh, nowhere near close.
We're talking 50% of the way?
Probably,
or?
yeah.
And do you have any other income streams apart from photography related work?
No. I do the odd helping out my friend with a bike tour, but that's literally you know, I need someone to help.
Super. So it's literally got to make enough money, and do you know roughly how much money that is that you need to be making each month from photography?
Around €1,000 a month would be a minimum.
Yep. Was that after tax and?
Yeah, after tax. Obviously, more than that would be awesome, but.
Yep. No, absolutely. So, post-pandemic, can't get my words out there. How close are you to your previous numbers? What are you currently sort of?
Do you know?
Getting towards?
I'm probably. It's different every month. I honestly don't know. I haven't been keeping good accounts. I have an accountant and I haven't been keeping track of it myself. That's probably a huge issue there.
Yes, we'll definitely look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so currently not making enough money.
No.
A little bit directionless.
Directionless, and also the work that I had been doing, I wasn't enjoying. After the pandemic, I ended up doing quite a lot of product studio work that was very uncreative. Some video editing as well, which I just wasn't enjoying. Probably a low point would have been photographing a plate collection on beige, and with a very challenging client as well.
And then in terms of what you're currently doing work-wise, roughly how much are you charging for a full day's shooting on average?
Ideally, €800 for a day rate.
I'm going to have to get my calculator out, hang on. Euros.
I've spoken to other local photographers and they've confirmed that is about the going rate at the moment.
That's about £675.
Yeah, so it's low, but it's a cheaper market out
and
there.
How many days work are you getting a month?
Yeah, it's hard to say really. 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Of shooting, separate from the writing.
Because of course you also write for an online magazine, which does make up a good, substantial amount
That's a really
of your
good minimum each month. But in terms of shooting, but I'm also finding I'm not good at predicting how long things are going to take either, particularly with the back end of the work.
Or the post-production.
Yeah. Which generally during school holidays, I drop the ball and I overpromise and underdeliver,
Yep.
and ending up in a lot of angry clients. Particularly around Christmas time last year, I got really, really busy and had too much on my work plate. Tried to outsource the retouching. That was a disaster. I ended up having to redo it all myself, which then made everything late.
Right.
So yeah,
What was wrong with the retouching?
lost a client because of that. So I wasn't.
Oh, that's not ideal.
It wasn't cool.
And was the outsourced retouching just not good enough, or
It was dreadful.
where
I'm
did you
not going
outsource it to?
To an online retouching company that had been recommended to me, and it just wasn't up to scratch.
Right.
It was an American-based one, and they made everyone's skin look plastic, honestly.
Yeah.
And my style is a bit more natural than that. So.
And then, out of interest, had you sent them some of your other work to say this is what it needs to look like?
Yeah, I had.
Right, well, lesson learned there.
I was like, and then I tried somebody local as well, and actually tried to teach them and that was a disaster.
I can hook you up with some good retouchers, but probably not that can work to 800.
No, well, this
which
is the other
the
thing.
issue.
Yeah.
So €800 a day is really cheap.
Well, then retouching would be on top of that.
Oh, okay, so that's just your take home.
Day
Oh, okay,
rate.
that's not so bad then. 800 take home, that's pretty good. And do you own all your camera kit?
Yes.
Outright own it, no
Yes.
more
I've got
loans
no
or
debt.
credits or
No.
that's good.
Yeah.
Debt free is always a good place to be.
I've always made sure to be.
And then, is there any kit you need, or do you have everything you need? Is it all there and good to go?
I have wants. I don't know if I have needs.
I'd suggest if you already think they're wants, you definitely don't need them,
No.
which is good.
No, I mean, I've tried to be very disciplined in that sense, in that if I need something for a shoot, then I will look into either renting or buying.
You have one child in school, and you do a 50-50 split of childcare. So you have 1 week of school hours being free, which are between
9 and almost 5, 4:30.
Oh, the Spanish people are good at this, aren't they? We get a really awkward, just before work starts and slightly
Wednesdays
too soon.
they finish at 3. I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but
Maybe it's catching up on siestas.
yeah, probably.
So you get that, and then the other week you have free completely.
Yeah.
So let's look at both of those weeks before we dive into
Theoretically,
let's look at those weeks before we dive into what I think you should be doing. Let's look at how you're spreading your weeks. So what do you do on the school weeks? Because obviously they're the tricky ones.
Well, basically, I tried to squeeze all my work into the school hours, and then end up spending evenings basically catching up on computer-based work or whatever. I have started getting up early, sort of 6:45, getting 1 or 2 articles done from my bed. I keep my laptop basically next to the bed, wake up, turn off the alarm, and I sort out an article the night before, and I can just be like, oh.
And are you a morning person or a night owl?
No, I'm dreadful. I'm definitely not a morning person.
I was going to say get up at 5, but don't if you're not a morning person.
I
join the 5 a.m. club.
I could quite happily stay up till 3 a.m, but that doesn't work with a small person.
No, because they don't care what time you stay up till.
No, exactly. He's up at 7 usually, 7:30.
The writing, how much of your working week does writing for the website
It's supposed to be part-time, so I try to squeeze it into 2.5 days.
2.5 days.
Realistically, it ends up 3 days, but
2 days then of the week.
Well, I try and photography work,
And when you say photography work, what are you doing? What's your actual say that you were back doing the school run next week.
Yeah. So I might be doing the odd headshot shoot, maybe a local small business, doing some branding stuff for them. I did some videos recently for an Italian influencer, just Instagram reels, that kind of thing, very small.
And then on your weeks where you don't have any childcare, what do you do then? Is it the same sort of setup?
Yeah, I mean, basically I'll just work whenever I need to
just
on those
more
weeks.
Hours.
Yeah.
So,
but again, trying to chunk the writing into blocked off kind of days just to get it done.
Now, looking at your work, so what your website's open at the moment, you've got a lot of like lifestyle sort of environmental portraits.
Yeah.
And I know you said you wanted to move away from the music or musician side of things.
Yes.
And I've had a look for your website. The lifestyle stuff's really good. Portraits are okay, but there's something weird with the skin tones on some of them.
Okay.
There's like a green shift to a lot of the images.
Interesting. Okay.
Which I now can't see on this laptop, but I could on my calibrated screen. So I'll
Okay.
confirm that. I could be
Right.
completely wrong. It might have just needed recalibrating at the time. But what I do like is you have these projects
Okay.
down the side of your website. This is Motherhood Personal Project, what have you done with that project?
That was featured in the Daily Mail in
Good.
2019.
Yep.
It's been exhibited 3 or 4 times. It's going to be exhibited in Florence as part of a joint collaborative exhibition in October.
So just for context, I've got this up on the screen at the moment. This is some of the best personal work I've ever seen. And it has absolutely no bearing on the quality of work of the rest of your website.
Yes.
So it is substantially better
Okay.
than everything else. And then
Right.
you've got the people of Rapid City and the people of Razafa.
Rizafa, yeah, it's
Rizafa?
a suburb in Valencia.
So the Razafa one has a purple tint to everything,
Right.
like a visco filter over it, which is not to my liking. And the colours are all over the place actually.
Right.
But the images are good. So just a re-edit will fix those. So all 3 of these personal projects are really good and I think should make up your portfolio.
Okay.
Whereas the actual work in your portfolio is quite, I mean, some of it's nice. There's a girl playing football, which is really pretty. It's like these are nice airy photographs or very like aspirational. But a lot of it I don't think has that much commercial viability.
Okay.
For the sort of work you're doing at the level you're doing it in the place you're doing it.
Yeah.
But I think the project's work is really good. You've got a thing called Things, which is like, looks really out of place. I'd say delete all of the still life work,
Okay.
all of it, because I think it makes the other work look not as good.
Yeah.
And then when you click on the food tab, it's portraits of people with food,
Yeah.
and I'd expect to see food.
Oh,
When you've already
okay.
got a thing
As you
called
scroll
people
down, I
already.
think it does.
Yeah, it does change to food further down.
I'm actually in the middle of redoing my website, which is taking way longer than I wanted it to, and I've
Always
moved
does.
towards a project-based
Right.
portfolio as opposed to.
So I would be tempted to, I mean, if you need the money from the food work, build a separate website, call it something like a local named thing, food photography.
Right. I'm actually not really earning any money from that. to
In
be
that
honest.
case, delete
So,
it.
right.
I would keep your lifestyle images. So all I would have on your website is 2 tabs, one being lifestyle and one being portrait.
Okay.
And just have the 2 separately, and then have your individual projects like you've already got here. This is Motherhood Project. I wouldn't even call it a personal project, just have projects.
Right. Okay.
And I'd delete everything else.
Right.
And be very, very clear in what it is you do. Because you've got like a picture of a cabbage and then like a family lifestyle picture. So I think it's really important to have like a clear, decisive, here's what I am and here's what I do.
Yeah, well, that was one of my issues. I don't really know quite which direction to go in, to be honest.
Did you enjoy doing the Motherhood Project?
Yes, I did. It was quite cathartic, actually.
Yeah. I think I would do more stuff like that.
Right. I just don't know how I can then turn that into money.
Yeah, no, that's the important bit. So the way that working for €800 a day is not as much money as you think it is.
No.
So if you imagine 50% of that needs to be your salary,
Yeah.
so you've made €400, you've then got to put your tax away.
Yeah.
You've got to put your money for the running of the business, the insurance, the
Yes.
computers, when your camera breaks and you have to replace it and all the rest of it. So each day that you work for €800, you're only making 400,
Yeah.
which is only £330. You do that 3 times a month,
Yeah.
that's only £900, which is slightly over what you think you need to live. But
Yeah.
I'm assuming you want to save for like a
Yes,
pension
exactly.
as well, or
Yeah,
something. You know,
absolutely.
some form of retirement one
Yeah.
day. So I think in that price point, it's very hard to make a living from photography.
Yes.
Like the reason you have lots of photographers coming and going at the beginning is because they get to the sort of like £800,000 a day mark, and then they burn out.
Yeah, because you're working a lot for very little return. And
absolutely.
That's kind of where I'm at the moment, to be honest.
So in order to get to the level where you can be charging like real money, like 10 grand a shoot, you need to be doing projects that people recognise.
Okay.
Because there are millions of photographers who are okay.
Yes.
And what will differentiate you is not the quality of your work, because anyone can take a good picture, and even if you can't, you can fix it in post.
Yeah.
The bit which will get you noticed is the quality of the ideas you come up with.
Okay. Yeah. That makes
so
sense.
rather than having like just lots of pretty pictures, it's having a very clear idea and then getting that published in as many places as possible. So like with this one here, you got it in the Daily Mail. I think I'd have sent it to the Times, the Telegraph.
Oh, I got it in a Spanish one as well, El Mundo.
And then,
but yeah,
like just as many places. Like, did you send it to every website?
No, I didn't.
Like
I just
F-stoppers, because they've got a huge reach for
I
those
didn't
sorts
actually.
of things. And
no,
like
I didn't. See, I
BBC?
didn't know what I was doing at the time.
Well, there we
I
go.
did send it to the BBC, I think.
How long ago did you shoot it?
That was 2019.
Okay, send
but
it
it
now.
coincided with there was a news story where KLM had just stopped a woman breastfeeding on a flight. So it was very of the moment as well.
Well, I think it's still very relevant. There's recently a thing in Parliament in the UK about breastfeeding in Parliament. So I would send it everywhere.
Okay.
Find everyone's email. Don't do like a mass blind copy to everyone. Send personal emails. Send the link to the project.
Okay.
Because you want to get as many people to see this as possible.
Yeah.
I've also noticed that on your social media, it's there, but it's like spread out. I think I found one image.
Yeah,
so far,
I had a separate social media account for it, actually. I forgot to put that down for you.
Don't do that. Do it on your social media account.
Okay.
Otherwise, no one's going to know you're a photographer. Because what you want is to bring all of that traffic in.
Yes.
All these people going, here's a great project. Who did that?
Yeah.
Here's the photographer. If you send it to a different thing just for the project,
okay.
there's no legs with that. It just dies with the project.
Yeah, absolutely.
So use your current social media. And you've sent me two as well. There's photo...
tours. Yeah, I started doing some workshop-y local tour kind of things as well.
Okay, that's a good idea for making money. But why don't you keep that in with your other photography?
I don't know. I felt like I needed to have it separate for some reason.
No, because they want to be on tour with a photographer. Like if I was going to do like a photo tour of Leicester, which I won't because it'll be the dullest thing I've ever seen.
Well, you never know. Street photography.
If I was, the only reason people would sign up to it is because I am the photographer. Like, the selling point is come with me and learn to do photos.
Yes.
So
see, I'm beginning to think, and also it was becoming quite draining trying to keep all these separate channels and websites.
We'll get back to the way you work in a bit, but I don't think having multiple anything is a good idea for you. I think you're better to have one thing.
Just focus on that.
And focus on it. So what I would do, I'd go into your Instagram now and I'd delete every single post, which takes ages. Delete the lot.
Okay.
Every single
just
post.
Start fresh.
Delete it. Keep the account and everything like that, but don't even delete. Just hit archive on them all. You'll have to do it in like little bouts. If you do it too many in a row,
then they block you.
Yeah. I had to do that myself. Do that.
Okay.
And then the first thing you need to do is post the project. One image a day.
Okay.
Every single image you've got from it. Different hashtags every day.
Right.
Tag different interested parties in it every day.
Okay.
Share it to your stories. Get your friends to share it. Just send them a message going, I'd really appreciate it if you could help me share this project.
Okay.
It doesn't take long until somebody who knows somebody shares it.
Okay. I do have it as a printed magazine as well, because there were some quotes from the women, which I felt was quite strong.
Use the quotes as the copy text for the post. Put them on there, share them. At the same, once you've done 6, at that point, go and start sharing it via email to all the important people, all the photo editors, all of the magazine editors, any feminist activists, any breastfeeding activists, anybody. Like, spend a day researching who's into this. Like, there's people who are into. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, not being a breastfeeding mother. But there's what's the name, Mother Pucker on Instagram, who does all of the equal rights for working for women. Share it with her.
Yeah.
Like, she might not see it, but she might do. And if enough of the people she follows share it, then she might. And then you've got a bigger platform all of a sudden.
True.
And then it's all linked back to your work.
Yeah, okay.
So it's your work doing the marketing.
Right.
And all you need is for one ad agency or one creative director to see this and go, we want this person to do the shoot. And they don't care where you are in the world. They'll just fly you in.
Okay.
There's one year where I didn't shoot in the UK for 6 months. I just shot all over Europe. And it's because the projects I'd done were seen by these creative directors, and they're like, they don't care
okay.
if it costs £500 to fly you there
Yeah.
or £1,000.
Well, yeah, it's small.
It's pittance for
Yeah.
their budget. So, but that's the point where you can start charging 10 grand day rates and sort of
Right.
making decent money
Yeah.
where you can actually go, well, actually, as well as I can still live on £1,000 a month,
Yeah,
I've then got this extra money to put behind me for
Yeah.
the next time something like a pandemic happens
absolutely.
or like whatever
or
it may
just
be.
life.
You're saying you're shooting about 3 times a month.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not sure how you're spending so many days working on 3 shoots a month.
No, I'm not either.
I
I'm
have
not
a
quite
sneaking
sure where that
suspicion you're
time's
not
going.
being very effective. Do you schedule your working time?
No.
Do you go out during the day ever for coffee? and
Yes,
stuff?
I do.
Right. So, in order to work as a photographer,
Yeah.
you have to literally treat it like a job.
Yeah.
And then some. So if you imagine your average office worker works 9 to 5 and they mostly probably don't care
Yeah.
and they do very little. You have now got to work 9 to 5
Yeah.
solidly plus the extra because
Okay.
being a photographer is a really cool job and you get paid stupidly large amounts of money for what you do. Like
Yeah.
no one should be paid what we get paid to take pictures. Like
Right.
really, it's not
When
really
it's that much fun, yeah.
but because it's that much fun, it's that competitive, and for the
Yeah.
brands, it's that important that it's perfect for them to make their billions of dollars, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to be the best. So you need to have a structure.
Yes.
So
And this is what I'm lacking.
I would get the old Excel spreadsheet out, and it would be something like, right, from 7 till 8,
Yeah.
I edit articles.
Okay.
Don't open the internet, don't open web browsers,
Yeah.
don't open the phone, just do that. And then you go, right, we do the school run, we get back, I have breakfast. After breakfast, we spend this allocated amount
Okay.
of time on these jobs only. We don't nip out for coffee, we don't go
Yeah.
out for a walk. If you want to do socialising, you do it outside of office hours
Right.
with friends, not during
How
the day.
do you, what if you've got a client meeting though? Does that count?
I refuse to
Or
meet
do you,
clients.
you don't do it?
No.
Okay.
It
Because
costs.
this is a huge time suck
Yeah,
for
so
me.
I'll have a client meeting, but
Yeah.
it's £1,000
Oh, okay.
because it's my day gone.
Yeah.
I've got to do prep, I've got to do the meeting,
Yeah,
and I've got to do
absolutely.
post-work. Like, you don't get a free meeting. If you
Yeah.
want to do a 20-minute Zoom call, we do those. 20 minutes on Zoom,
Okay.
you can do that.
Yeah.
But there's no need
So you're
to
just being
meet a
very
client in person.
disciplined.
Yeah.
Yeah, well that's,
If I
yeah.
met with every person who wanted a meeting, I'd get nothing done.
Yeah.
I'd just say, if you really need one, we can schedule one in. Here's my fee for doing this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they do want one. They want me to come in and meet their clients and all
Sure.
the rest of it. And they have to pay the fee.
Yeah.
But definitely no meetings if they've not agreed to pay you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do speculative meetings.
Right.
You can't go and meet someone for coffee because they might want to book you.
Yeah, okay.
Because,
Okay, this is, yeah, this is
it's-
where I've been going
yeah.
wrong as well.
so if they want a meeting about a shoot, the first thing you need to do is screen them. Go, okay. What do you need? When do you need it by?
Yeah.
What are the deliverables? Like, do you need 10 JPEGs?
Yeah.
Do you have a mood board and a brief? And what budget do you have? If they can't answer those, there's no point in having a meeting.
Yeah.
Because if they don't know that, they've got work to do before they come to you.
Yes.
And once they know that, you can look at it and go, that's unrealistic.
yeah.
And say, I don't think I can do this project for you.
Right, okay.
And if it comes back and you go, that meets my criteria, it's the
Yeah.
right money, it's the right deliverables, they've got a reasonable understanding of what they want,
Yeah.
then yes, we can have a meeting on Zoom for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah,
once,
that's
at the
fair
point where they've booked you and they want to have a meeting, maybe.
Okay.
If it's important, I mean, most of the time it's not important, but if it is important, then you can have one. But meeting clients for the
Okay.
sake of meeting, or especially potential clients, is just a waste of time. So
Yeah,
be really
absolutely.
strict on that.
Okay.
I see it like, I have photographers going, I'd love to go for a coffee with you. I'm like, no. You can pay me to go for a coffee with me,
Right, yeah,
but you can't just go for a coffee with me because that's my time.
absolutely.
If I spend an hour out of the studio
Yeah.
not working, I've then got 2 extra hours to do because I've got to get that hour done
Okay.
plus the hour's work I should have been doing
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I'm an hour home late from work, which is an hour home later to see the kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like,
Yeah, it's a
what's in
knock-on
it for
effect.
me?
Yeah.
And same with clients. If they want me to go for a meeting in London, that's a day for me.
Yeah.
So
That's
they've got to
true.
pay my day like a travel fee or like a retainer
Yeah.
fee to go there. So definitely that.
Okay.
In terms of your post-production, you need, if you know you're going to be too busy to edit during summer and Christmas,
Yes.
now that it's the end of summer, you need to now find a retoucher.
Yeah. Okay.
Not wait until it's a problem.
Yes.
And then,
Okay.
then work out how it's going to work. I don't see how you've, a client who are only paying 800 will have a budget for a good retoucher.
Right.
Who's going to cost at least another 500
Yeah.
per day.
Okay.
So you either need to get it more right in camera.
Yeah.
Like for the sort of work you're doing here, I can't see how each image will take longer than 20 seconds to edit.
No, I don't think most of them need much in post, to be honest.
So I think it's a case of, are you shooting tethered on location?
Yes.
So shoot tethered, shoot into Capture One.
Do
the
no, I don't use Capture One actually.
Learn Capture One.
Yeah, okay.
Build the edit on the first frame.
Right.
It'll colour grade them as you shoot.
Ah, clever, okay.
You can do it in Lightroom, but it's really messy.
Yeah.
And you have to build a preset, attach the preset, and it's really slow. Do it into Capture One. Shoot tethered into the computer. It will do it as you go along.
Yeah.
And then you're already 90% done.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
And then it's just a quick tidy up afterwards. If they're only paying 800 for a day shooting, they don't get hours of retouching on each shot.
Yeah.
It just needs to be colour graded, any like major blemishes if it's a portrait removing, but and then just send
Yeah.
it.
I did do a bid actually in May for, well, I won't say who they are, but they were from Poland and they wanted, it was 3 days of lifestyle shooting with 2 models. Plus it was basically a year's worth of material they wanted to shoot in 3 days. Video, drone footage, stills, makeup artist, stylist, the lot. So I did do it for 1,500 a day. And I think the whole budget total, including catering and all that, came to about 12,000 euros. And they were like, haha, no.
Too expensive?
Yeah, far too expensive.
That's fine.
So
we had a quote from a very well-known client. Well, they asked us to do as a quote, and we quoted 35 grand a day.
Right.
And they said their budget was £500.
Okay.
And this is a brand that everyone would know about if they're watching this.
Oh,
and it was just that this particular project, they'd been allocated this much money to do something creative. The creative director was young and didn't have a clue what she was doing.
Yeah.
And she thought that she could achieve this elaborate plan for 500.
I think it's very similar. She was the assistant creative director or even
someone junior.
Junior than that. And I think she thought Spain was going to be cheap. It's not that cheap.
But that, I would say that 5 out of 10 requests we get, like they don't have the budget for it, which is fine.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like people come to me asking for certain things and they don't have the budget for what I'm doing, which is fine. And I go to the supermarket and I go, I can't afford that. I'll get this.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough.
It's people's choice.
The trouble was, I think it did knock my confidence a little bit. And then, speaking to the other commercial photographer, he was like, no, 800 a day is. So I was like, oh, maybe I was asking too much, 1,500 a day.
I think 800 a day is really cheap. Even
low.
As a Leicester photographer, when I was local, only working locally, I would still charge a minimum of 1,200 a day.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know how much that is, 1,500 euros.
Yeah.
As a minimum. That's before any retouching, usage, licensing. It's like as a bare minimum.
That's just your fee.
Yeah, it's just not worth me doing it otherwise. There's no value to shooting for less than £1,200.
Yeah.
Plus expenses, plus usage. It just doesn't make a business.
But then there's that conundrum. It's kind of like, well, maybe 800's better than nothing. It's...
Maybe, but if you drop and smash a camera on an €800 shoot,
well, that's
is
true.
that better than nothing? Or
Possibly
is it,
not.
And I think...
Or taking time away from other things that...
Yeah. Would you be better? So I see it like this, and someone comes up and goes, we've got a job for £2,000. I just say no. And some people are like, why don't you just take the £2,000, you're doing nothing else? And my argument to that is, instead of doing that, I'm working on the next £50,000 shoot.
Yeah, fair
Because
enough.
why would I want to work for £2,000 when there's 50 grand around the corner for the same amount of work, but it will be better shoot, better quality, better people, and a job which will get me more work.
Yeah.
This £2,000 job will give me £2,000 a headache and nothing else.
Yeah, and this is where I've been. I've been basically doing shoots I've not been enjoying for too little money with clients who are not ideal, who perhaps don't really understand what they need or want, and it's the whole process has just been frustrating, and I just feel like I'm wasting time, kind of on a hamster wheel.
Yep.
Not moving forward, just stagnant, really.
So I think, in terms of that side of things, I don't think it's sustainable to have an €800 a day business. unless you're getting 3-4 shoots a week, but you're getting less than that a month.
There's no way I could sustain 3 or 4
and
shoots
at the
a week
point
as
where you
a
work out
sole
how many shoots,
trader, you know.
yeah, once you work out how many shoots you need to do, you suddenly go, well, I can't do that.
No.
To make enough money, it's not possible.
Yes.
But you obviously do have to make enough money because you have got
Yes.
dependables.
Yes.
Dependables?
Yes.
Is that a word?
That is
It's
a
word now.
yeah.
We'll have it. So the writing you do, that pays a reasonable chunk towards what you need as a
Yes.
base rate.
Yeah.
So what you
It's a reliable source.
yeah, it's a reliable, consistent source. At a minimum, you get say
Yeah, about €800.
800 euros. So
600 to 800. Yeah.
Take away tax is probably 400 to 500 ish, plus electric and stuff like that, and internet bills and
Yeah.
all the random stuff you never think costs money, and like needing a new laptop after a while and those
Yeah,
sorts
exactly.
of things. So it's always best to
Overestimate
how
costs.
expensive stuff
Yes.
is rather than underestimate and then go, oh, I now need to buy a laptop, I have no money.
Yeah.
So say you make 400, so you only need to make another 600, which is really another 1,000, 1,200 euros.
Yeah.
So I would look at another source of passive income
Yes.
that you can do, whether
Okay.
that's running local photography workshops.
Yeah. Well,
whether
that's not
it's-
passive, is it?
well, if you do them online, it is.
True.
So you can run it as a thing, record it and sell it as
Yes,
an additional
okay.
thing. But no, you're right. But like running, when I say I don't mean passive, do I? I mean non-photography related. Running local workshops, running like the photo tours. Do you get much
Yeah.
work from that?
I was beginning. Well, it's a very new thing. I
Yeah.
didn't start it until autumn last year, and it was mainly for local people. I was doing it, but I think now that tourism is starting again, I think it really could open up.
Are you doing much marketing for it?
I'm not. See, this is the thing. I've stopped. Life got a bit overwhelming from about after Christmas, and I just kind of had to regroup a little bit.
Because that would be a good way just to have. I mean, you could even make a PDF document that people can buy for
Yeah.
€3,
Yeah,
which tells them all the great locations with a photo from each location,
that's a good idea.
where the sun will be at
actually.
each time of day. Make a really good local pack for tourists.
Yeah,
Get some good SEO on a web page for it.
Yeah.
And just have that selling in the background.
yeah,
Doesn't make much, but you only do it once.
yeah. That's a good
And then you
idea.
can also
actually.
use those images to sell the tours.
Yeah,
So you've got you're getting multiple usage out of those images,
yeah,
which I think is a good thing to do.
yes.
I think that's a good thing. How much marketing are you doing on your photography work?
I stopped basically.
How much were you doing?
I was just getting going before the pandemic, and I had my list, starting to send monthly newsletter emails out to local agencies, branding companies, graphic designers, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then I kind of dropped the ball during the lockdown and stopped. And then I got crazy busy after that, and then I started again recently in June.
What are you doing? What's your
But
plan?
I was just sending out a monthly,
So very little.
very little.
So-
I don't have a plan. I don't really know
so
what I'm doing.
you
to
need
be
a
honest.
marketing plan.
Yes,
It needs to be weekly.
weekly. Okay.
It needs to be a day a week, like 8
Right.
hours a week of marketing
Okay.
as a minimum. Like it just has to be.
Yeah.
Because, say for example, there's 10 photographers who are going for the one job that you want. If they're doing weekly marketing and you're sending a newsletter once a month,
Yeah.
you don't stand a chance,
Right.
like at all. Like they wouldn't even remember who you are. So
Yeah.
I do things like I send gifts, I send books, I send.
Okay.
I mean, e-shots go out once a month. That's like the apps. If I'm shooting 14-hour days, 7 days a week, the e-shot will still go out. That's the
Okay.
newsletter will go out once a month. That would be with a personal project that I've shot.
Right.
If I'm shooting every day, I've done a personal project before about shooting every day,
Okay.
where I did a picture of my face at the end of each day and put it in one of those little video things.
Yeah.
And did like, this is the face of a man who shot every day for this month, because I had nothing to share.
Yeah.
But I wanted people to know I was there and busy. And that was a
Yes.
really good way to do
Yeah.
it, especially as I looked absolutely ruined at the end of it. So it's always just finding something, and each e-shot should be a project,
Okay.
not just a random, this week I've been going to look at these cakes and I've gone to the page.
Yeah.
It needs to be, here's a project I've shot, here's what it is, here's who is involved,
Okay.
pictures.
Yeah.
Love to work with you soon, name.
Yeah.
Like, that simple. And that needs to go out every month. And then every time you
Yeah.
do something of merit, another one goes out.
Okay.
So you have your minimum of one monthly, and then
Yeah.
say you shoot a campaign for somebody,
Yeah.
that goes out as an additional
Okay.
one. I've just shot this.
Yeah,
So you
I
do
guess
a personal project, I've just done this.
I was feeling just like, oh gosh, everything I'm doing, I don't want to share it.
Share it.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't matter. It's better to share something bad than nothing at all.
Right, okay.
Like, always share something. And likewise, on Instagram, like, once you've deleted everything and started again, like, you've not posted for 15 days?
No, and I hadn't posted for ages before that.
Yep. So Instagram, regular posting, regular stories.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason not to do a story. You can always find something photo related to share.
Yeah.
Like, just anything. Keep it purely on brand for what you're trying to do.
Okay.
And then, should you, I think, lose the photo tours.
Yeah.
But do a few posts going, move over to this account to try and get as many people who are only on that to come over.
And how would you integrate then that into the main marketing of the...
Just use your Instagram stories.
Just stories?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do with my workshops. I never post anything on my grid about the workshops. If I've got a workshop coming up,
right.
put it in stories.
I guess you can always pin it for a couple of weeks if it's coming up.
Do it once, and then if you need to do it again, do it again. I wouldn't pin it. I just like, no one looks at those like saved ones at the top.
True, actually.
I don't know why people, everyone spends ages doing them. I'm like, but no one ever looks at them.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So yeah, I would do one, give it a week, do it again.
Okay.
Or like you can do a countdown, 5 days until this, 4 days until this, 3 days until this.
That's a good
Like
idea,
just keep ticking away at it.
Okay.
So looking at what you need to do, first of all, you need to get a really strict work schedule.
Yes.
Which is like, these hours I work. This is how my hours are broken up. So you need to do 8 hours of marketing a week.
Right.
And that's not just spending 8 hours doing it. It's like 8 hours of actual hard work.
Okay.
So it's like finding people to contact.
Yeah.
Contacting the people, finding things to send to the people, finding who it is.
Okay.
You know, all these bits need to be done.
Yeah.
On Instagram, you need to be following every creative director in a 100-mile radius.
Right.
Everyone who works as an ad agency in a 100-mile radius needs to be followed by you. You need to find out who the people are, which agency they're at, sort of a massive database.
Right.
And then follow them all, engage with them, use LinkedIn to follow them as well, and just sort of slowly build that thing where they go, oh, we know this person who does that.
Right, okay.
So that's your marketing.
Yes.
Once a week, every week, 8 hours, whether you've got childcare or not, you can fit that in around
absolutely.
that. With you only doing 3 shoots a month on average, that means you should only be spending 6 days on shoots.
Okay.
1 day shooting, 1 day post.
Yeah.
So that's only a week.
Yeah.
So your writing is 2.5 days a week. So we've got 5 days writing.
Okay.
1 day marketing.
Yeah.
11. So up to 12 days of work. So you've
Still
got
a lot of
another
time.
12 days left of emptiness. In theory, you should have 12 days of nothing. And with those 12 days of nothing, you need to be shooting personal projects.
Yes. Okay.
Planning them, shooting them, executing them.
Okay.
I think this is the problem with being self-employed. People think you go away, you get a job, you do work. It's all fine.
Yeah.
Now, in the constraints of a big corporate business, they have all the things in place to make everybody work the same.
Yeah.
Whether you're super organised or horrifically organised, you fall into these tunnels and through you go.
Yeah.
When you're self-employed, you don't have these things unless you make them. And what you've been doing is not making them, hoping for the best, it all going chaotic,
Basically,
and then going,
yes.
I need to stop doing everything, it's too much.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine it's a cycle which
Yes,
kind of
pretty much,
repeats itself. And I know this because I was very similar. I used to have people going, where are the images? And I'd be like, what images? I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. Because I was so badly organised. So now I literally have a blow-by-blow account. So what we do is we go, I'll say we, me and my agent, we go, right, next year, this is what we want to achieve.
Okay.
So I want to shoot for Guinness, I want to shoot for McDonald's, I want to shoot for Coca-Cola in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we need to do? So by the middle of the year, we have to have done projects, personal projects, that excite all 3 of these brands.
Okay.
Okay, so for those first 6 months, let's break it down. We need to get those shoots in the first 3 months to get them out in the first 6 months. So we've got 3 brands, 3 months, a brand a month we shoot for. Then the next 3 months, a brand a month we target.
Ah, okay.
And that's the first 6 months of the year plan. Now within that, you go for that month where you're working on the McDonald's idea. Right, let's break it down. So I've got to do 1.5 days of YouTube per month to keep the YouTube channel running. I have roughly 4 days of work with mentorship, one-to-ones, portfolio reviews, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Which is that allocated time slot. And before you know it, you've got so many hours of each thing.
Yeah.
You put it into an Excel spreadsheet and you go, Wednesday at 2 p.m, I'm working on doing this.
Ah, clever.
And it's a very clear, concise
Yeah.
way of going, this is what. Now, of course, at some point it all goes wrong. A child vomits on you in the morning. You're like, great, today none of this is happening. But that's fine.
Okay.
Because you don't plan your year in a way that every day of the year is booked up.
Right.
I only do my daily plans on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So I'll have a rough overview of the year, then the half year, quarter year, the month year, I'll have like the things I have to achieve.
Yeah.
And then week by week, I break that down by the hour as to how I'm going to achieve it.
Okay.
And that way you plan your week. I always do it on a Sunday. So when I turn up on Monday, I know that Monday 9 a.m, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And I don't sit there going, what should I do today? I'm self-employed.
Yeah.
Let's go to a cafe, sit there with my Mac and my beard and be an artist for a couple of hours. So, but it takes time for those things. And like even now, I am at the beginning of the commercial ladder. So although I've got 15 years experience, I am here and there's so much ahead of me. And to get to where I want to be is probably going to be another 10 years of work.
Yeah.
You know, luckily during all of this time, I made enough money to get by.
Yeah.
But in terms of people going, well, if I do this, change my website, change my work pattern, do my marketing.
You want instant.
You're going to do it. You have to get to the point where you go, this isn't working, let's keep going. This is still not working, let's keep going.
Yes.
Pretty sure this is the wrong thing, let's keep going. And you know, over time, then eventually you go, oh, hang on, now I've got 5 clients this week. This is brilliant. But it does take time.
Yeah.
Go away and do those things.
Amazing.
And hopefully let me know how it goes.
Yeah,
in
no,
about 6 months' time, let me know if
yeah,
it's all
I will do.
staying on plan, you're still organised.
Yes. Yes.
It's been lovely to meet you.
You too. Thank you so much. Yeah,
More
it's
than
been
welcome.
brilliant.